That should be better. Aha! Let me just make sure this works. Hold on.
Idea to me because
Perfect. My audio's good. Well, so my audio wasn't working for a second there, guys. I've been just fucking ranting to nothing. That's right. Saying nothing, doing nothing, just being an absolute gooner. Just make sure this works. So here we go, boys and girls. Here we go. Here's the real thing. Destiny is getting exposed. He's, I guess, again. Dude, I like how my baby's head's like popping up in this right corner over here of me. She's just fucking locked in, dude. She is locked in on the drama. She knows Destiny is about to get exposed on this video that's been going viral. It is made by President Sunday. I don't know much about this guy. I've never seen anything he did, but it is a lot. There's a lot of things going on. I saw this blowing up on Twitter, people talking about it. I was like, yes, I have to be a part of it. Now, if you don't know who Destiny is, Destiny's a political streamer. I conflate him with like the Alex Jones or the Nick Fuentes of the left. Quite often do I put him in the same category as those guys. I think he's a far left content creator, just like Nick Fuentes and Alex Jones are kind of far right. Now, just because you have hard opinions on one political side of the aisle does not mean that I can't find you interesting. Now, I don't find Nick Fuentes even a little bit interesting, to be honest, but I do find Alex Jones to be pretty funny, and I found Destiny to have pretty funny takes from here every once in a while. Like the one he had this thing where he was like, it was like this drama where this girl was like talking about how a guy cuddled her, but it could have got worse, and he was like, "You're good, you're fucking fine." I really like that clip. It was fucking awesome. I think Destiny can be really funny, but I do still see him as an extremist. That's what he is. Anybody who's like a Hassan fan, a Vosh fan, or a Destiny fan, you are kind of an extremist. It's like when you're so far in all these debate bros and that are sitting over on these far ends of the thing, they're just so fucking entrenched, locked in, just like my baby fucking right there. The cat just blocked her image, but just like the baby, you're locked into this world that you are entrenched into political stuff. I mean, you are locked. You're never going to do anything else. No matter how hard Steven Crowder tries to pretend to be a comedian, he's always going to be a political guy. But let's get into this, dude. I am excited. I am very, very excited to see how this fucker gets exposed.
In this video, I'm going to tell you a story about a man. It's a story that has been replicated over and over and over in government, in show business, in business boardrooms, restaurant franchises. This time, it's about a man with a small social media empire on YouTube. A man who uses his clout and his fame to lure mentally and financially vulnerable women from his community into sexual encounters. Encounters which he records and then, without their consent, shares with others. It's about how that man developed such a stranglehold over his community that no one, no matter how disgusted they are, will dare call him out for this, even when it becomes public knowledge. And most importantly, this is a story about power, and of how normal human feelings can be contorted to serve a machine to make a man immune to the effects of the abuse he has inflicted on an astonishing number of people. Stephen Bonnell II, or as he's known...
Jesus, dude. Jesus. That was like so long. I know it was only like a second, dude. But when it fucking focused in on the books, when it locked Cox with those books, dude, I was just sitting there just... I was waiting for something to happen. Waiting for something to just... Dude, I can't... The baby's so fucking funny, dude. The baby's so funny. Look at her just shaking her head and shit. Oh my god, I love my kid. Anyways, so I was just locked in on these books, just completely zoned in. I'm like, this is an eternity. I have officially been locked in for the rest of time on these books. I am there on the books, and then all of a sudden, Stephen Burnell II. Joseph Rogan.
Online, Destiny is a highly successful political streamer and content creator who has garnered infamy not just for public outbursts and controversial political positions, but also for an impressive number of public threats, sexual scandals, and even outright criminal actions. This recently culminated on November 29th of 2024, when an anonymous Discord and Kiwi Farms user going by the name Solo Leaks published a large repository of private messages and pornographic images and videos of Destiny with various men and women to Discord and Kiwi Farms, recordings that Destiny had shared to strangers without the consent of the people in them. It's important to note that this is not the first time that Destiny has been the subject of a large sexual scandal involving non-consensually leaked intimate material. All the way back in 2012, Destiny was caught up in a scandal involving a competitive StarCraft 2 player called Blue T, who had tweeted out a photo of his genitals. This was in retaliation for Destiny previously leaking nude images of her to his friends on Skype, wherein he laughed at how quote-unquote fucking hideous her face was compared to her quote-unquote beautiful body. In 2021, Destiny had a romantic entanglement with a YouTube streamer.
Well, here's the thing. I'm gonna be real quick. Leaking on either, like, the shit that happened to Destiny about the leaking was bad. Destiny leaking the shit on the other girl, bad. I do not think you should be leaking, like, videos and shit of famous people regardless. I don't care how much you think it's cool. I remember back in the days of the fappening, it was like, dude, Jennifer Lawrence's tits. And I remember, like, just, like, yeah, dude, I was fucking, like, everybody was, like, jazzed about that shit in a certain way. But then, like, now looking back, you're like, fuck, dude, that's kind of fucked up. Because, like, you think about you in that position. I want you to think about you. And you're just, like, hanging out, and you're like, dude, I really like this person. I'm going to send a little. And then all of a sudden, that shit's all over the internet. Nobody wants that. This revenge porn shit is fucked. It's fucked, and I don't like it. I don't like it. Now, I'm going to give it a $1.20 there. I think it was cringe on both sides. Anytime that what happened to him and what he's done to these other people, supposedly, allegedly, it's just kind of cringe, and I'm not about that shit. Yeah, that was my input there. I wanted to make sure that it's known, at least to my community and my little world, that if you ever have, like, shit about somebody and you decide to, like, come to my Discord and you're like, hey, dude, check it out, dude, there's leaks, bro. There's fucking leaks, dude. You want to see it? No, I don't. I really don't. I don't care. I don't want to see this shit. It's like, I can fucking watch whatever porn I fucking want to watch by just looking it up on Google. I can just Google it real quick and goon to whatever the fuck I want to goon to. I don't want to just get unsolicited, like, famous people fucking dicks and clits, and I don't want that. I don't think anybody wants that.
Named Anna Voir. Anna would go on to become known for insisting, often tearfully, that she was actually in a long-term romantic relationship with Destiny, which Destiny denied, painting her as crazy to his audience. It was later revealed that in fact, while Destiny was insisting to his audience that Anna was insane, he was actually sexting her the entire time, and referring to her with terms such as princess in their conversations. Anna threatened to post these sexually charged texts to prove that she wasn't crazy and that this was all actually taking place. And in retaliation, Destiny threatened in public to leak her nude photos if she did so.
Like, if you and I had, like, sexted or something, or traded nudes, and you were like, I'm gonna leak your nudes, and I go, fuck you, if you leak my nudes, I'm gonna leak your nudes. Is that, like, blackmail? Or is that, like, abusive? I disagree.
So do you think that leaking sexting and leaking nudes is proportional, or do you think it's a proportional response in the way that you're reacting to them?
I think it's about proportional. Because you're leaking, like, sexual material and shit from another person. Yeah, fuck it, I think it's proportional.
Destiny has also at least once admitted to accidentally sending homemade videos of him and his wife to people who his wife did not in advance approve of, in accordance with a previous agreement that he wouldn't.
Me and Melina had a conversation about, there were a few girls we talked to, it was like, oh cool, like we should record videos of, like, us fucking shit and send it to people, like it's fun. I kind of, like, have, like, my little archive of, like, Coomer material that I'll send to people if I want to. There were girls that I talked to past that I'd send stuff of, like, either me or me and Melina, and Melina talked to me and she was like, hey, if you're gonna send any videos to new girls that we haven't talked about, like, let me know that first. Because she wanted to be careful. And so I was like, oh, okay, sure, that was fine. I didn't think about it at the time because I didn't think it mattered, but for the first thing, like, okay, yeah, I should have, like, checked 100% with Melina to make sure, but, like, this.
Other examples of threats and sexual misconduct made by Destiny are plentiful.
Bro, I love how the camera footage is progressively getting worse with these three. Now, yes, there's a lot of fucking goofy gooner shit going on right here. There's a lot of fucking goofy gooner shit. Like, here's the thing, bro. This is, like, I don't feel like, okay, the one girl, first girl that he was denying. Yeah, dude, that's fucked up. That's cringe. That's fucking awful. The shit with him and Melina and, like, his personal relationship shit, I really don't. It really doesn't fucking. It's just weird. It's always been weird. It's one of those things, like, I remember the Steven Crowder drama with him and his wife. Did I think it was fucked? Yes. Did I see it coming? Probably. I mean, that's like Destiny here. Does it surprise fucking anybody that somebody this aggressive, who it's this hard to have a normal conversation? Have you seen him do like collaborations with people he doesn't like? He just fucking is a dick. He's an asshole. Same thing with Steven Crowder. So you think that they're gonna be like fucking chill when somebody confronts them in their own house? Fuck no, dude. When his girl left him, I don't think anybody was fucking surprised. I don't think there was like one person out there who was like, oh, Destiny and his wife broke up? No way, I'm gonna be sick. I'm gonna be sick. They were the perfect couple. Nobody said that, dude. She was fucking plowing dudes behind him. He was fucking other chicks. It was a toxic relationship. Everybody knew this shit was gonna happen. I don't think I see. Here's the thing. I think I've always known that Destiny's a douchebag. At least like to a part. But it also kind of makes him like funny. Now, am I defending anything he's doing here? Absolutely not. He's a fucking douchebag. But it's like Sneeko. I can see Sneeko shit. No, Sneeko's a fucking piece of shit, and still enjoy the fact that I can clown on him. And that's how. So far, I haven't seen anything too egregious. Was he being an asshole? Absolutely. And is this fucking weird, like leaking porn shit, the shit bad? Absolutely. But is this like the fucking card that makes him the biggest monster yet? No, we haven't gotten there yet.
But the general point is this. Destiny has a very bad history when it comes to sharing
Dude, and I thought my hair fucking looked like too much today, dude. My hair, right? Okay, my fucking, bro, look at my fucking hair, dude. Look at my fucking hair. It's going fucking nuts right now, dude. It's going fucking nutsoid. My hair is fucking going fucking crazy right now. It's not agreeing with me. It's saying fuck you, King Jiffy. I got like, for some reason it's flippy flopping. I don't know why it's being such a douchebag, but I somehow, in my ability to be so fucking goated, to be such a goated fucking king, I still have better hair than both of these fucking douchebags here. Like, look at this fucking scraggle raggle, never seen shampoo shit a fucking day in his life. Dude, Destiny, the further we get into, like, where we are now, Destiny's looking more and more meth the fuck out. He looks meth the fuck out. Now, am I saying he's on meth? No, I have no proof of that. I'm not going to allege that the dude's just smoking tons and tons of meth with Hunter Biden behind a truck stop while, like, looking at, like, explicit photos of women and men. But I do think that he needs to take a shower, bro, and like maybe eat some food, because like, yeah, I know I'm a fat fuck, but damn, bro, it looks bad. And this guy just looks like he fucking took a bunch of super glue, stuck it in his hair, and then bashed his head against the wall for 15 minutes. How my shitty hair looks better than both of theirs right now is insane. That's like actual insanity, bro. We are in the fucking clown world when my hair's looking better.
Intimate material of people that he is sexually involved with without their consent, and of using the threat of their release to keep people in line. If this brings a certain Diddy to mind, you are not alone. Like with Diddy, when people speak out about Destiny's misconduct, the responses vary from silence to dismissal to outright threats of exposing their intimate information and media. Unlike with Diddy, these aren't just allegations, we have the receipts. In 2023, Destiny's wife Melina publicly separated from him. In response, Destiny went on stream and indicated multiple times that he was confident that Melina would not leak any unsavory details about the relationship to the public because he too had compromising information on her and logs that would seriously harm Melina's reputation if they were revealed.
Dude, let's just be real though, Melina is so fucking hot, dude. She is very, very fucking attractive. So the fact that Destiny ever fucked her to begin with, that's a W. That's a W. And they got married, so they had lots of sex. That's a W. The fact that he was letting her, like, fuck dudes while he was there, though, big L. Big L. Now, I don't care what you do in your own house, bro. That's fucking between you and whoever you're with, bro. That's your fucking thing. I don't care, dude. I don't care. I don't care if you have, like, a truckload of like, gooners pull up and just load into your house and you have giant orgies. It's fine. But, like, you're not going to keep a serious fucking relationship. Jesus Christ. Now I'm thinking about my hair. You're not going to have a serious fucking relationship and have that work if you're constantly gooning like these guys were.
Whereas, since his reputation around relationships was already so low, he would be effectively immune to the consequences.
Why do you think that she isn't going to leak or talk shit? Melina will not leak or talk shit about any of this because she knows that everything about this makes her look like a fucking satanic demon. She knows.
Dude, she knows that if she even thinks about fucking leaking shit, I will go scorched earth on her ass. Did you see when I argued with JonTron? Did you see when I argued with Hassan? They don't want any of this smoke, dude. I have all the dirt on Melina. Dude, he comes off so unhinged and it's fucking amazing.
That.
This is hilarious.
She's threatened it a million times. Like, I'm going to start leaking everything. Oh, yeah, let's go. Okay, if you really want to, holy because my reputation is already zero in regards to our relationship. Everybody thinks I'm a horrible piece of shit. We want to start leaking shit. We can do it.
Fast forward to November 2024. Due to the solo leaks, it has come to light that Destiny has been sharing intimate private messages, nude images, and pornographic videos with a 19-year-old OnlyFans creator called Rose, who he was sexually interested in at the time. Rose leaked these to a Discord and Kiwi Farms user called Solo.
Okay, here's the thing though. I don't. He could have just said OnlyFans user. I think there's something on the internet right now, and I've kind of noticed this where they're like 20-year-old, 18-year-old, 19-year-old. It's like I think it's supposed to add to it. If they're past 18, I do not give a fuck. They are a consenting adult. They can do whatever the fuck they want. They can fucking send their fucking genital pictures back and forth. I do not care. It has no effect on me. The fact that they're only a fans person has no effect on the situation. And honestly, that's probably Destiny's type, considering he likes watching his bitch's backs get blown out.
Leaks, who may for all we know be Rose herself, who then published them to Discord and to Kiwi Farms. These leaks included intimate romantic and sexual DMs between Destiny and Lauren Southern, who Destiny had long denied being romantically involved with while she became increasingly present in his public personal life and on stream, despite being publicly at odds with each other politically on the surface. Destiny even once described her activism as involving, quote-unquote, drowning refugees. These DMs revealed that, in fact, Destiny and Lauren Southern had been...
Well, here's the thing, too. Here's something funny about Destiny and, like, a Lauren Southern or, like, a conservative type or something. It's funny how you can end up with somebody that's, like, completely opposed to your positions. Completely opposition that has... Like, I have so many times throughout my life where I've been, like, completely on the other end of the spectrum from some chick, and then we have sex, and it's almost like we like... angrily have sex at first, not like mean, not like violent or anything, but it's like we're so annoyed with each other, but there's like a passion there because there's like this passion that's involved, and it is like when there's the debates that lead up to these situations, it's like even me and my wife completely oppose each other on certain viewpoints, but that's just kind of a part of it. You don't fucking like somebody because you don't get into a relationship with somebody because of their political opinions. Those are discussions you can have, but it has nothing to do with attraction. And I always thought it was weird, like, can you believe this person's with this person? They're so different. Like, yeah, dude. If they were the fucking same, they'd get bored because they'd have nothing to talk about. There's no passion there, dude. It's boring.
Mutually declaring their love and admiration for each other, including expressing intentions to separate from the respective partners to marry each other. All of this was happening behind the scenes despite Destiny publicly claiming to his audience that he and Lauren were not involved, and while he was publicly accusing his wife Melina of lying and of being controlling privately when she would express displeasure about the relationship and when she requested that Destiny stop associating with Southern. In addition to these leaks, which not only severely compromised Lauren Southern's career and personal life, but also established that Destiny was lying when he accused his wife of being delusional and controlling about the affair, Solo Leaks also published a massive dump of revenge pornography, which featured various sexual encounters with numerous men and women that Destiny had recorded and sent to Rose as part of their flirtations, which incidentally include references to how he recorded other people not included in the dump, including a recording of a sexual encounter with someone he met on the gay dating app Grindr with no mention of having alerted this person to the fact that they were being recorded. Note, it is a felony to record sex acts without consent in the state of Florida. So to recap, Destiny, who has a long history of threatening associates, friends, and family with public humiliation and exposure through releasing revenge pornography and intimate messages, actually did leak a tremendous quantity of compromising, sexually humiliating messages, images, and videos featuring other people to at least one person without their consent. These were then publicly leaked And the reaction has been total silence. Nothing. Historically, Destiny has always been boldly willing to threaten leaking private intimate material, such as during his separation from his wife, or to expose nude images to retaliate against women he was slandering, like Anna, or even just for the sheer pleasure of it, as in the case of Blue Tea mentioned earlier, where the only purpose was revenge. This time, however, somehow, there is nothing. Not by Destiny, nor by anybody else. No streams, no video.
Here's something I do think it needs to be talked about. This is something I think is really important, needs to be talked about. I don't understand why the commentary community fucking covers for Destiny so hard when they're willing to scorch earth everybody else. Now, I understand that it's your friend. Like in the case of Turkey Tom, you have people out there that it's like, oh, well, it's your friend, so I'm not going to say anything. But it's like Destiny can say shit and get away with more than just about anybody else can. They can clown on everybody else, but when Destiny's put in, it's almost like they're afraid of him for some reason. Like they're afraid that because Destiny has this ability to like debate bro people to death, that he can't be attacked. That he's free. He's free to fucking not be attacked by anybody. It's like fuck off, dude. Like, it's nice to see when somebody actually, like, goes against Destiny, because, like, Destiny can say a bunch of fucking mad cringe shit, and I don't understand why more people don't clown on him like they clown on, like, obviously conservative people clown on Destiny, obviously, and, like, you get the occasional guy that'll clown on him, but it's, like, the dude's constantly coming out there and just spurging the fuck out. The dude's, like, the king of spurging out on Twitter, and just, like, being an asshole. I mean, the fact that he was, like, celebrating that firefighter he had shot was super cringe and deserved more spotlight than it did, and it gets like a short comment from one of these commentary guys. Why aren't you scorching them like you would scorch somebody else for saying shit like that? If it was Hassan Piker saying this shit, you guys would be there next day crapping on Hassan, but Destiny just has this shield around him. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. If Nick Fuentes comes out and says some horrible shit, there's gonna be 8,000 videos on Nick Fuentes. But if Destiny says something, it's quiet. It's fucking crickets. It's annoying and cringe, bro. It's some gay shit, and I don't like it. I think he should be held to the same standard, and I don't know what it is about him. Maybe it's because he can be entertaining or whatever. I don't know, but you do hear a lot of crickets. He is 100% there. And like I again from the beginning will stand by the fact that I think it was wrong when they leaked all this shit about Destiny, but he was also doing it, which is bad in its own right. So I think there's a lot of bad hands at work, and I think that the way Destiny is just such an aggressive person makes all of this make sense to me. This all makes sense. I never saw Destiny as the type of guy that let shit just roll off of his brow, and I think that's maybe why so many people are scared to say anything about him, is because they know he holds a fucking grudge.
Exposés, no tweets by any notable figures denouncing what is an obvious massive breach in ethics and consent. Nothing. Which begs the question, why?
Bro's got to get rid of these long pauses, bro.
Why is everyone being so silent about something that by all rights should be a massive sex and abuse scandal about one of online politics' biggest and most controversial figures? As I said at the beginning of this video, this is not just a story about a man, but about power and how power works. And it's not a story that is new. At the center of this scandal is a concerted effort by Destiny's friends, associates, and community to conceal and hide his wrongdoings.
Bro's just fucking built goofy as fuck, too. Can we just talk about that for a second? Bro's built like... He looks like Ricky Berwick, but Ricky Berwick is like actually like crippled, you know? Like Ricky Berwick has a reason to look like the way he does. What the fuck is wrong with Destiny? Destiny's just built fucking weird. Like, this guy's got a weird build, right? Obviously, everybody knows. He's built, me and him are built pretty similarly, way too overweight. Destiny just looks like a fucking, he looks like a child trying to draw a human. It's weird as fuck. He's like a 90-year-old man, bro.
Any and all means. This includes deleting any mentions of the leaks on Discord and Reddit, obfuscating...
Like, god damn it, he's weird fucking looking. Like, his face isn't that weird looking, but he's got this massive head on this fucking LARPy-ass body, bro.
The issue by acting as if the leaks only contain private sexual behaviors and therefore aren't anyone else's business, or even offering money to the victims in exchange for their silence. Now, if one were to say that the creators around Destiny were simply remaining silent about this scandal in order to continue to capitalize on their friendship with Destiny and have access to his audience, this would be a misleading oversimplification. Some people are doing that for sure, and some people in fact are even going out of their way to run interference to protect Destiny from the consequences of his actions. But this is not a story about the nefarious deeds of evil men and women, but about power. And it turns out that in fact a lot of people are simply afraid. Afraid of what they have a moral right or a public sanction to say given the sensitive nature of these leaks, and afraid of the retribution of Destiny and those in his audience if they say something that angers him. A very large creator in YouTube commentary called Nicholas D'Orio.
Fucking Nicholas D'Orio. He's one of my favorite commentary guys. Like, he doesn't always hit, but he's kind of funny.
Disgusted at the obvious sexual abuse and public coercion he was witnessing coming from Destiny and his defenders, and frustrated by the fact that people were beginning to lump him in with the others who were actively covering for Destiny, reached out to me directly to clarify why he was not being more vocal.
Look at that fucking Nicholas D'Orio fucking round build, way blown out. Like, I talk about how my lights are blown out, right? Like, how my face looks always so blown out because I have terrible lighting. Nicholas D'Orio looks like he went to Harbor Freight, bro. He went to Harbor Freight, got the biggest spotlight possible, and just, like, socked that thing into his face, bro. He is so blown out right now. He's more blown out than Destiny, and Destiny's got leaked footage of him blowing. You know what I mean? It's just so bad, dude. Ah, dude, but I actually the best person out of all these people, right? All these people on fucking screen. What hand is? Yeah, there. All these fucking people right over there, dude. All of them. The best one is definitely Willie Mack. I really like Willie Mack. I think he makes the best content. Turkey Tom is the funniest. I don't know who that is, to be honest. But Nicholas D'Orio, I think, is like the perfect in between of these two.
Vocal. He told me that, due to the sensitive nature of the material, despite being very confident about Destiny's guilt, he was very conflicted about coming forward against Destiny on behalf of the victims in this story without them voluntarily coming forward first. This was for two reasons. First, Destiny has a history of persuading his victims to come to his defense during a scandal. This happened once when a creator called Mr. Girl infamously attempted to accuse Destiny of lying about his relationship with Anna Voir, and in response, Destiny produced recent DMs between himself and Anna in which he got her to say that her own quoted claims against Destiny were false. And here it is notable that the fact that these DMs were between the alleged abuser and his victim did not seem to affect their credibility in the eyes of his audience. And second, because of Destiny's ability to use his hold over his massive audience to deal serious reputational and financial damage to people who he feels have slighted him. Nicholas refers.
Here's the thing. What is he gonna fucking do to me? What is he gonna do to me? Destiny, you have a fucking LARPy ass body. You're kind of really cringe. You're kind of an asshole. And it seems like you manipulate a lot of women. You got some like Review Tech USA energy when it comes to women, bro. What are you gonna do? Come and attack my fucking massive audience. My audience is like super big, so I have no chance of getting fucking taken down by you, bro. I have no fucking opportunities to get destroyed by you because I have nothing right now. Actually, my audience isn't massive. I have 0 people in this live stream right now, so come at me, motherfucker. I would love it. But no, he does it. He gets away with so much, bro. It's so fucking cringe. And here's the thing, I don't understand why anybody would be afraid. Like, here's if you had somebody like Hassan that has a massive audience, but you know he's cringe and it's easy to hate on him, boom, they make a video right away. Destiny, for some reason, again, gets these weird fucking passes, and it does not make sense, dude. And like, and I think it's so weird considering I put Destiny in the same type of category as Sneeko, Nick Fuentes, and fucking Alex Jones. They're all the same, bro. They're all fucking way out there, way wild, and that's what makes them entertaining. But it also kind of makes them like kind of assholes. I don't know about Alex Jones being as bad of an asshole. I haven't heard like a bunch of like, oh, Alex Jones. I've heard he was an alcoholic. Maybe you can let me know. Let me know how bad much like. Well, he did say the thing about the Sandy Hook stuff, but like I mean like asshole to people around him. But like, I feel like Joe Rogan's friends with him, so he can't be too horrible. But I don't know much about Joe Rogan and his friends, I guess. But I don't know. Destiny and Steven Crowder, I think mirror each other a lot. And I do find Steven Crowder funny, just like I can find Destiny funny. But there was nothing surprising about how he treated his wife. Like his aggression comes out through his commentary, and same with fucking Destiny over here. Just look at the way he talks to people he already like deals with. Like every single conversation that Destiny has in like a debate situation, he is an overly aggressive asshole. So you think he's going to get in an argument with his significant other and not be an overly aggressive asshole? Absolutely fucking not, dude. And then when you look at Steven Crowder always would play like the, I'm better than you. I'm better than you, huh? I wonder if, are you sure? Really convince me. I actually have right here where you're wrong. And he did that exact same thing while he sat and smoked a cigar with his wife, who was fucking pregnant with like twins. And he was like, when are you gonna pick up the dog shit? You know, I work all day. You know, it's the same type of cringe energy. So to see him this aggressive, like on his points now, and then just imagine having a falling out with him. He's going to be that aggressive then. And to think that it's not realistic to have this is just weird.
Explicitly here to the reputational damage Destiny inflicted on another commentary YouTuber called ChudLogic when he was approached by Destiny's now ex-wife Melina to give her side of the story about the Lauren Southern affair.
So, I mean, I've privately told everybody I'm completely distancing myself from this guy, waiting for this bomb to go off. But I don't want to be the one to fucking light it. But, I mean, I feel stupid. I sent Destiny, like, a message of support at the beginning of this.
Really?
Like, it's about his dick getting
man.
leaked, not about this part of it. Like, oh, it's a shame that your fucking dick got leaked or whatever, which I guess is still valid.
I didn't
but,
realize how bad it was initially. I thought the big thing was the Lauren Southern leaks. I thought, oh, he's got sex tapes. Okay. Surprise, surprise.
Well, in the
I
back
didn't
of my
realize
head,
it
I was thinking, why would all these people consent to their fucking nudes being exchanged?
Well, the answer
Why
is they
would that
wouldn't.
even happen? They would absolutely not. They
Yeah.
absolutely wouldn't.
Yeah.
And it's like, and
But this is kind of a pussy ass thing from Nicholas Diorio too, that he wasn't gonna light the match when he would have lit the match for anybody else. He would have lit the match in seconds for anyone else. But Destiny is like he's like the protected guy in commentary. And what's really crazy too is like it took ChudLogic was one of them to come out, and it's like ChudLogic is the type of guy who just like gets fucking overly hooked on people. So my problem with ChudLogic is I can't always believe what he's saying, because he likes to witch hunt people really hard. And when you're the type of person who witch hunts people, I can't take you seriously because of the fact that I don't know how much of this information you're just looking for to prove yourself right. Because ChudLogic tends to come off a lot of times as the guy that needs to prove himself right. Now, is he right from time to time and quite a bit? Sure, he can. And I think he does bring some good commentary to the table. But his problem is when you're a witch hunt type of guy, you're going to get exactly what you're looking for because that's what you're searching for.
I haven't really been able to talk about this with anybody because I'm at like a fucking. It's a huge risk to even discuss it because this guy's got such a chokehold over his community. But I legitimately think if it ever comes up, I absolutely think that's career ending, and I don't think that could be defended. And if it can be defended by his community, it would fucking completely destroy. I mean, yeah, his reputation's in the toilet. It could be lower.
It could be. It's
absolutely
also
lower.
it's in the toilet with people who care to know.
Yeah, no, I think this is a viral everyone story, video, like community-wide story. If this cover-up ever comes out,
What specifically would have to happen to trigger some kind of, determinate position on this in public for you?
I mean, I'll be super candid about it. You would need to talk.
Yeah, would you have to talk publicly, or do you just
Yeah.
have to see it?
No, I think I've already seen it. I think she needs to talk publicly because if anything, if it comes down to it and Destiny convinces her privately to take that other... Look what happened with ChudLogic and Lauren Southern. He had Melina coming to him and telling him these things directly. And he was put in a position where he can either eat shit and be hated by that community and lose a huge percentage of his audience to the point where I had to pick up the other half of the slack and like help him out, right, to keep him afloat. Or he could just leak those messages and be justified immediately, and it would start like a huge conflict. And I guess he did the right thing by loyalty, but like, you know what I mean? It's like, if you don't have the person, then it's you fighting on behalf of somebody else. And I've seen this go down so many times with content creators where if they don't have the support of the actual victim in the situation,
Right.
you're fighting a losing battle from day one.
That is true. Because if you're just out here spewing shit and said, I got it from reliable sources or whatever, there's nothing that you can say that can't be taken. You have to take everything they say with a grain of salt. There's a lot of people in the gaming, like, news world that'll do it. Well, I heard it from reliable sources that the next Fallout 5 is going to be the biggest Fallout of all time. And they're bringing back original gun models or something, and you're like, well, what are the sources? Well, they can't be named because they lose their jobs or whatever. It's just like, I heard it from my cousin who works at Microsoft type bullshit. And when you go in with that, you take a big risk of being the guy that said something that wasn't true, and you can lose a lot of credibility, especially in the commentary community, where your credibility is what keeps you afloat. That is your bread and butter, is being the guy that knows the shit. See, I'm just a fucking asshole who yells at shit on the internet and plays video games. So when I do this shit, it's just like, I can be wrong because I'm not basing everything on me being right. I'm not here to be the fucking arbiter of morality and the arbiter of justice like a lot of these commentary guys are. It's when you get into these trenches that can be the most dangerous, and I feel like losing your entire platform would be very scary over literally somebody who's protected like by the entirety of the Royal Guard, you know, if you're kind of getting what I'm saying.
So principally your concern is that you're going to take a pretty big financial / audience hit if you were to do
Well,
this.
I think there's a genuine risk that I'm going to get left out to dry here, because if she doesn't say anything, or even worse, if she comes out and says it's not true, then I'm fucked.
A lot of people who would otherwise potentially be ready to support the victims of Destiny's systemic abuse of female and male colleagues are stuck between wanting to call foul on some truly reprehensible behavior and the realization that if they did, there are so many ways to spin them as the villains through Destiny's further manipulation of the victims and of his massive following. Two particularly aggressive defenders.
It's not just his massive following, it's also the way that Destiny has the ability to make everything sound like he is right. Destiny is an incredible debater. Destiny is one of the best out there, but Destiny's problem is he will browbeat you to the ground to make himself look right. And when you have somebody like that, it'll leave you kind of, he doesn't even give you like the chance to breathe, to think about what you're going to say. He will rattle shit off until you're into the fucking dirt. So there's no sense in actually debating this stuff with Destiny. There's no, like, it's stupid to try. You try to go in with somebody like Destiny or Sneeko or any of these fucking assholes, you are going to be beaten to the fucking ground because that's what they do. They are there for blood. And Destiny is more vicious than most of them. He's a very vicious debater. So there's really no sense in trying to argue against him in this shit. And on top of that, if you come in without like the support of somebody who's been through like manipulation by Destiny, he's just going to make it even worse for you. He is vicious when it comes to debating. So it's not just his audience, it's not just credibility, it's also because you would then have to deal with the wrath of Destiny, and this dude's a petty fuck.
Defenders of Destiny have been Not So Erudite and Dan Saltman, who are both colleagues and close members of his inner circle. Both have gone out of their way either to dissuade attempts to bring up the issue of Destiny's non-consensual sharing of intimate material of other people publicly, or to directly discourage his victims from speaking out or taking legal action. A major consequence of Destiny's silence and the silence of the people around him on this issue is that all of the negative consequences for these leaks have been borne by the victims, who are still being publicly shamed and harassed as I speak. However, faux concern for their well-being and their wishes to remain as anonymous and private as possible has been used to shut down any discussion where Destiny might be held responsible for endangering them in the first place. The perverse result is that Destiny's crimes against these people are effectively being weaponized as their own defense against others who would call him out for them. For example, when one community member known as Fairy Queen questioned Not So Erudite's continued association with Destiny, given the revelation that he had been sharing porn of people he streams with without their consent, and given Not So Erudite's own avowals of being a mental health expert and a feminist, Not So Erudite claimed that she was in communication with the victims behind the scenes and that they didn't want any additional attention. And so therefore, Not So Erudite was actually doing the moral thing by not holding Destiny accountable for victimizing them in the first place and for personally continuing to profit from the reputation of Destiny by whom she was employed. When pressed on this, Not So Erudite promptly terminated the conversation.
See, here's the thing too, is where they hide, where people, this is what's something that bothers me about people on the left too, where they hide behind the fact that, oh, well, I'm a feminist, and then they do some mental gymnastics to make it almost like they're supporting feminists by hiding this shit. They use these buzzwords and these social causes to stand in the way of them doing actually fucked up shit, because they now have these blanket statements they can put in front of themselves. Well, see, I stand against racism, so I reached out to the victims, and they didn't want to be a part of how Destiny says the N-word can hurt them. Like, it's weird, you know? It's like these weird fucking jumps to make this shit make sense. And to me, it's like, oh, they virtue signaled themselves out of getting in trouble. They've used the same arguments for so many other things to get them away from accountability that then they realize they can use it for more serious shit. And that's my problem with virtue signaling. Is the biggest thing that virtue signaling does is just you're now sitting there, and you don't actually have to fight on any merit of the actual argument. You can just throw some shit in, like, oh, you only want to see more of this because you're not actually feminist. It's like you are not a feminist. Like, look at that. You can then call them racist, call them misogynistic. You can then utilize the thing that they're scared of being, because they're trying to be progressive to a fucking fault, that they're too scared to say anything back. It's weaponization. All this is bullying with utilizing fucking progressive talking points and movements.
It turns out that Natsa Erudite was telling the truth when she said she was communicating on behalf of the victims, because as it turns out, she was from very early on the primary middleman negotiating the price of their silence. Enter Pixie. Pixie is a tiny streamer who, like Destiny's wife Melina, was visually identifiable in the leaks. Pixie had been working closely with Destiny since she turned 20 years old in 2019, and in addition to appearing on stream together regularly, Destiny also got her involved in paid positions organizing for canvassing projects, like with Progressive Victory, who he partnered with in 2024, and she would accompany him multiple times to large podcast appearances such as the Whatever podcast, which he would pay for her to be flown out to. Pixie had, for a very long time, repeatedly tried to present herself as an example of a woman who could succeed as a part of Destiny's orbit, without being a member of his oft-rumored harem of women who offer him sexual favors in exchange for exposure and stream time. In light of these leaks, that image has obviously been shattered, and she has received the brunt of negative reactions to the scandal, since people who hate Destiny and hate the politics of the people in his group are eager to laugh at the hypocrisy of one of them, even if it means joining in the mass harassment of someone who is in fact a victim of revenge porn. Unfortunately, Pixie did the worst thing that someone in her position could do. Rather than seek legal recourse or make a public statement denouncing the violation of her consent and dignity that these leaks represented, she seems to have ultimately chosen to try and profit from the situation by extorting Destiny. An American citizen who finds themselves a victim of revenge pornography has several valid actions they can take. Let's go over 3. First, they can seek legal recourse. In fact, there is a federal law on the books as of 2022 that allows victims of non-consensual exchanging of explicit material to be compensated up to $150,000, and that's even if the leaks were not necessarily done maliciously, but only with reckless disregard for the consent of the victims. The victims may even have their identity concealed. Second, they may make a public statement denouncing the person who leaked the materials and violated their consent. And in fact, this can be done in conjunction with the first option I mentioned. And finally, they can choose to do nothing. They can stay silent and hope that it all blows over. And this is their right. But Pixie did not do any of these.
Yeah, she took option 4, so technically you're wrong, bro. Those aren't the only 3 options. She chose another option. You were wrong. You were wrong. This is a big L for video. Whole video, all your pauses on the books don't mean anything because there's 4 options. Pixie proved that.
In an exchange that I have learned has since been circulated among the entire commentary community on YouTube and virtually everyone in Destiny's circle, Natsa Erudite can be seen haggling with Pixie over the amount of money that would be appropriate for Destiny to pay her to not involve the court system or to denounce him publicly. First, Pixie uses the implicit threat of her impending suicide and a scheduled note announcing it to pressure Destiny to pay out a significant sum of money, and then later switches to vague threats of public denunciations and legal action. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, her friend Straightraid was colluding to advise Destiny to offer to help her financially as penance to stave off her threats of self-harm. A situation that would obviously be a reputational disaster for Destiny. Note, Straightraid has also explicitly said that she did not consider the situation serious enough to warrant a wellness check. As revealed in earlier DMs between Pixie and Destiny prior to this conversation with Natsa Erudite, Pixie and her friend Straightraid had used the specter of her impending suicide to alarm Destiny enough that he would be receptive to suggestions of financial compensation. Apparently, Pixie was hopeful from the beginning that she could get as much as a $1 million payout from Destiny, which Straight Raid had to repeatedly talk.
Jesus, there's no, like, she should have just taken his ass to court and then like plummet. Well, she thought this as a payday. Is she okay? What's up, little girl? I got her. No, don't worry about it. I got it. You do your thing. I want to make it helpful. Gobbledygook machine. My sweet baby. My sweet baby. You gonna come sit over my dad? You can't hear any of it anyways, so. Basically, if you ever meet like a cringe leftist who is like constantly online, don't talk to them. All right, here we go.
Talk her down from. The condition of this financial compensation is, of course, Pixie's continued silence. This would seem to imply that Pixie's decision to not go public is not because she is afraid of the repercussions, or else she wouldn't be threatening Destiny directly with legal action or public denunciations, but because she wants to profit personally off of extorting Destiny,
Yeah, I think
who
it's pretty
also,
ugly,
it must
too.
be remembered, is a victim of revenge porn. Destiny may be the one responsible for the leaker having the images in the first place, but he shared them recklessly, not maliciously. And of course, he has endured public humiliation as well for this. Destiny's close friend and podcast co-host Dan Saltman, the CEO of Redact, had also reportedly gone behind Destiny's back to advise Pixie to make financial demands of Destiny, as well as to ask her to dissuade Destiny from taking legal action against Kiwi Farms for hosting the leaks. Pixie has since said nothing publicly. There has been no evidence of legal proceedings being pursued, and she has seemingly ceased communications with the people she was previously working with, instead posting on X about taking the LSAT.
Dude, see, this is what's kind of funny is like once you start, see, this makes her look so bad too because she's using it to like blackmail him. You know, she's trying to utilize to leverage her position to like, I could sue you. This could be an impact on you. Kind of like threatening that cancellation shit, which they're all fucking for. You know. But I don't know if Destiny's fully for cancellation. I don't know what the fuck. I don't really know his stances. I've just seen funny clips. But here's the thing, when you're over here, like, I can like bomb your career and I can do this, so you better pay me hush money. The hush money thing always fucking, I hate it, because it's like, why not just fucking show what type of person this guy is, right? Why not just show what you are acting like, get the shit out there, or just take legal action and then have it not be a public deal and get your money, and then have a separation. It's pretty simple, you know? I don't understand why it's so complicated. This shit just turns into way more of a bombshell because of all this behind the scenes shit.
In pursuit of law school.
What?
It appears as though her attempt to extort Destiny has probably paid off, albeit at the expense of every other person Destiny has victimized in the past and will victimize in the future. And so we can see the circuit completing itself. Destiny seeks out vulnerable women in his community who are enamored by his fame and success. He engages them intimately and records the interactions. Then he hoards these recordings and he shares them with reckless abandon, even occasionally threatening their release if the people in them do something to displease him. And when finally, the obvious result of recklessly sharing these intimate images with strangers occurs and they are publicly exposed for all to see to the detriment of these people's reputations, mental health, and safety, he is able to buy off his victims and use their purchased silence as moral ammunition to shut down anyone who would try to hold him accountable for what is clearly grossly unethical conduct. Destiny, and the web he has created around himself, is creating victims, and if it is allowed to continue, it will create more. I urge everyone to pay attention and to warn people about the danger they are putting themselves into by engaging with Destiny and his community. These are people who have been handpicked for their willingness to not just remain passive in the wake of intimate and potentially life-ruining abuse, but to also become accomplices in silencing the victims. And the victims are also selected, either for mental illness, allowing them to be easily construed as hysterical or deceptive when they complain about their treatment, or for financial vulnerability, allowing them to be easily paid off by Destiny for their silence. Thanks to certain individuals revealing to me the extent to which people are knowingly allowing or even actively taking part in the system of abuse and cover-up, I have realized that by withholding what I know of the situation, I am playing directly into Destiny's game. Someone needs to break the chain, or people are going to continue to be hurt.
I mean, that's true. Somebody's got to say something. And, like, when you have all this drama pop off, and this is something I thought was funny, like, after the leaks happened, it was just kind of like, don't talk about him. It was kind of like how I saw a bunch of people cover for Steven Crowder, like, we shouldn't talk about it because it's their personal life. We don't know all the details. I'm like, yeah, dude, but I do know that I've never talked to my wife that way. You know, that I've never fucking, like, been an asshole. When my wife was pregnant, dude, I was doing my best to just be there and do what I could to help her out, you know? Yeah, there was, like, probably times where I was a little more annoying, but, like, it was never annoying in the fact that I was like, why aren't you fucking doing this better and shit? Like, why do you suck so bad? No, dude, I would go to work, I would get I'd get some food, I'd come home, and we just fucking vibed, dude. I mean, she probably was more annoyed with me than other times because she was pregnant or whatever, but at the end of the day, dude, I never fucking just, like, belittled her, and, like, threatened to take the vehicle from her where she couldn't use it. I'm like, she's like, oh, dude, I need the car today. I'm like, okay, just drop me off at work because I gotta go to work. And then she'd be like, okay, and she'd do whatever she fucking had to do. It wasn't, I didn't ever fucking sit here and try to make it harder for her, you know? So, and then when I see, like, shit like, oh, I had a bunch of, like, I fucking leaked a bunch of fucking, I sent a bunch of nudes of me and my wife having sex to everybody without her consent. That'd be fucking, I haven't done that. So why the fuck, like, how do you defend that? It's like, oh, well, it's not your relationship, so you shouldn't talk on it. It's like, yeah, but dude, that's still kind of fucked. You still can, like, you can still have the opinion that that's fucked. Yeah. You know what I mean? I don't know. I do like that this guy had the balls to put this video out there, and somebody fucking said, yeah, dude, you're cringe, you deserve to be blasted a little bit, and this was a little bit of a blasting. More than he got from in his mouth from all those times that he was going down, you know. But yeah, that's the Destiny drama, dude. That was the whole Destiny drama. What time is it? 10 o'clock? We'll do one more. We'll do a short one. We'll do a short one here. We're going to do Thor is an industry
So
plant.
I was so triggered I had to come out of my...
Here we go. Thor is an industry plant. Now, so if you don't know who Thor is a his dad was one of the head developers on World of Warcraft. Like, his dad is literally the guy they made fun of in South Park. And then, he worked on World of Warcraft. And now he's kind of like, you've probably seen him where he does like these videos where he's talking in his super fucking deep voice and he's like using Microsoft Paint and he's like making his opinions known to the world. That's who Thor is. But that's about all I know about the dude.
slumber to make a video on Pirate Software's response to Stop Killing Games. Not even necessarily about the initiative, just his horrible dog shit fucking arguments. So we're gonna go one by one.
Let's discuss the most common requirement of the initiative, which is games have to be left in a functional, playable state. Now, what happens if that
Dude,
game
how do you
is
get this
a
shit?
online-only live service game? Well, if you want that to stay in a functional, playable state, that means the devs have to release either server binaries or somehow carve off the game to be a single-player experience.
Or you could just build out some implementations of having people host their own private servers like many games have before. It's not really that complicated of a thing to do.
Now, many of you are requesting, yes, I should get the server binaries so that I can go and make private servers for this. But that doesn't make a lot of sense in the real world. And the reason why is because it leaves developers open to abuse. So let's explore that a little bit. Let's say that you made your own video game, and you made a live service game. Maybe it's an MMO, maybe it's something else, right? And let's say that I want to monetize that game, but you don't allow monetization of the game by any other party. This makes sense because most creators don't allow for that. You can't just take someone else's art and profit off of it.
I mean, too bad, so sad, I don't know. If you're incapable of monetizing your game through above-the-board means and giving people access to your game in a way that doesn't limit them to whenever you decide to cut support, if that's a problem for you to monetize that game, then sucks to suck. Go do something else. I don't know what to tell you. You should be more than capable. If there's a game that people like playing, you should be more than capable of monetizing that game. Many other companies have done this with online games without being predatory, without being fucking cringe about it.
So then I go, well, how am I going to force you to do this? Under this initiative, you would have to release the server binaries or keep the game in a functional, playable state at end of life. So I hit you with a ton of bots. I hit you with a ton of exploits. I attack your community. I destroy your Reddit. I go after your business. I go everywhere that I possibly can to make this cost as much as it possibly can for you.
You can already attack companies with bots right now. And who the fuck's gonna sue you if the company is dead? Plus, that's already illegal. Anyone who cared about following the law or copyright law would not be doing it in the first place. The argument of they're gonna monetize these servers.
So here's the thing, dude. I am so I don't really know. I think I'm very for video game preservation, and I think that you should release it just on the fact that, okay, so what if they don't want to? They're like, okay, so here, you can have your own servers. Wouldn't it just be like, why would you need to monetize these own servers? What if the company, after the game's life, they've already made the money that's to be made from this game? What's the harm in releasing it so you can have, like, people can have their own dedicated servers? I don't see the problem in that. It's like, why wouldn't you be able to, like, have those private hosted servers? It's like, makes no sense to me. This whole thing is just, I don't get why you wouldn't be for video game preservation. Like, live service games, like, a lot of times when they die, they die. What? Why are you licking my sweater? But at the same time, I think that there should be some, these companies should be like, okay, yeah, we're not going to hold server support, but if you want to run a dedicated server, here's the open binary. Now, I don't know all the ins and outs on how that works, so I'm not going to be, like, the most educated, like, super genius, just using some, like, awesome fucking mental fortitude to explain how that's possible. But I do think that enough people have proven that it's possible to keep a game's longevity just around. And there's also companies like Zoom and GOG that are willing to keep these games, or keep games running active. So I don't understand what's stopping him, and I just don't know enough about this subject. I clicked on this because I thought of the industry plant thing, and now I'm just kind of confused.
You could already do that with a lot of different games. And you know what? People play on the non-monetized servers, so it wouldn't even make sense. What functionality are you providing by monetizing the servers? There's going to be a lot of private servers around. Who the fuck is going to play on these servers that are aggressively monetized instead of just going to the ones that are free? No one. No one's going to choose to get cucked out of their money. Maybe a very, very small percentage of players.
And let's say that this goes on long enough that your game dies because you can't afford it anymore, and your studio has to shut down. At end of life, you now have to release those server binaries to keep the game in a functional playable state. At which point I take those, I create a private server, and I monetize it.
The unbelievably absurd argument that people are going to run around killing games with bots so they can monetize their own private servers when they could.
Okay, now that I got the last context, this is where I thought it was going, but I wasn't sure, so I didn't want to speak out of my ass. What Pirate Software is saying is completely fucking retarded. If your game dies because you couldn't monetize it correctly, and you then release the binary and people start making money off of it, that is so, like, who's gonna play on the fucking money servers anyway? But if you do want to play on a server that costs money, it's like, why does it matter? The studio isn't supporting it anymore, so somebody else had to do the job, so we're paying them for their work. It is not the the studio fucking gave up access. The game is dead. We've talked about they made all the money they can make off of it. It is now a fucking dead game. So what keeps this viable? And what's great about that is, like, let's say it's a game that's been dead for a long time, but it's still in an ongoing series, right? Let's take, for example, Halo 1. Halo 1 has a Master Chief Collection, but let's say Halo 1 would have released on PC, right? It didn't. We're just gonna, we're using big brain stuff. But Halo 1 isn't supported by Microsoft anymore. I know Microsoft will support their shit until, like, the fucking earth dies. But it's not being supported anymore. There's no more money to be made off of Halo 1. It has had its peak. It's had its downfall. It is now a relic of the past. Other people decide they want to keep playing Halo 1. They want to keep running these servers. So they start making dedicated servers. And they start making good dedicated servers, which have a strong fan base behind it. And the fan base wants to keep, gets to a point where they feel like the server's getting too big and they can't keep it steadily going for a while. So they decide to close off the server. And they have $1 entry into this server. You now know that is the best server to get on. So you go onto it. I don't see any problem with people trying to keep these communities smaller, trying to make a little money on the side. There's nothing. It's like, who's losing out? The big companies losing out a little bit because their game's been dead for fucking years? That's weird. That's a weird fucking, like, you're bending the knee and sucking the corporation's dick while also watching the video and game industry die. There's so many games that I would love to play that have kind of died that are dying in obscurity every day. And then we're making the excuse that we can't, like, you can't just open up the binary. Like, stupid.
Already do that anyways is absolutely ridiculous. Like, who are these people that are going to invest this much money? Also, we already have protections against this type of thing. There's DDoS protections. But, like, if this were to be a problem, this would already be happening right now.
Some people have said, well, simply don't allow monetization of the server. Well, who's going to enforce that? If you want a government initiative to enforce that, that means the government has to build a registry of all of those games and all of that intellectual property that shouldn't be monetized.
Again, if there is, the thing about there being, even if people fucking try to monetize servers or whatever, you still are going to have ones that aren't monetized, and people will then avoid them. It's called the free market, dude. That's how it works. And at the end of the day, the company does not do anything about that game anymore. And if somebody's mad that somebody else is making money on a server, oh well, don't play on that server. Done deal.
But, like, there's already regulations in a ton of different markets that don't require the government to have a big list of everyone who's in that market. You can make this argument for literally all copyright protections. The way that copyright works is if someone wants something taken down, they have to specifically request it, and then a party can take a look at it. You can bring that suit to court. The government doesn't need a big registry of everything that's copyrighted. And even if people do want to monetize these private servers, that's their own business. What if they want to release a giant expansion pack where they overhaul the game and people are really enthusiastic about it, but it costs money? I don't think that should be shut down because of this ridiculous hypothetical scenario where people are going to be destroying the game.
Well, here's what's funny, too. Here's something funny. So, I think now with Starfield, there are paid mods. There's paid mods now where people can work on and build something for the game, and then they can sell it, and Bethesda gets a cut, and then the rest goes to the person who developed the mod. A lot of people were really against this when they decided that this was going to be a thing, and I actually was on the side of, why shouldn't they get paid for their work? If they want to charge you for a mod to the game, why shouldn't they be able to? Let's say they spend years developing this, and then they release it, and yeah, it's like $10, right? And it's like a full overhaul of the game. I don't think that's egregious. You were basically, like, they built you a new fucking game. People all the time will use engines, build a game, but oh well, because it was a mod and uses certain assets from this, you can't monetize it. That's stupid, dude. Just because mods have in the past always been free doesn't mean that some people don't want to be paid for their work, and like when they completely overhaul a game, that's fair. You don't have to buy that mod. You don't there's nothing that guarantees you every mod for free. Now, like, yes, that can be upsetting because like the modding community has always been free because you're basically, once you start making a mod, you know you can't make money off of it because it is not your assets, it's not you're basically building off of something else. But the idea that they're opening up avenues for people to make their own money, I don't ever think is a bad thing. So it's just like we're attacking people for trying to maintain and uphold something they care about because you think that the big corporation deserves all the money. This is what I have a problem with copyright. I think our copyright laws are way too stringent. I think that I think that they should cut the copyright. And this is all because Disney wanted to keep fucking Mickey Mouse longer. It's like, what? We used to get some of the best literature because they were building off of each other. And now we're at a point where it's like, oh, well, we can't do anything with a character that's too similar because you can get sued. It's so egregious to the point that it's like, oh, I can't even have like a knockoff Superman because DC might sue me because it's too close to a real Superman. It's dumb. It's really, really dumb. I don't like it. I've never liked copyright law. I think you should have like a 10-year, 20-year period where that is 100% your IP. If it's still ongoing, like that is your IP for then. But like when it comes to like the film rights, okay, you got it for 10 years. You get the film rights, and then nobody else can make it. And then after that, other people can make it. Whether those products are good or bad does not matter to me. because like that's one of the arguments. Well, we don't want our brand, our character to be degradized. Well, if you're out there making the best version of your character for everybody to use, then you will be the person that everybody comes to. But if you're making the worst and somebody's out there outdoing you with your own character, well, looks like they're gonna make the money because they're doing a better job. Sorry, that's how it should work. Like let's say that like there's a Spider-Man movie, like it's really fucking bad. Comes out. It's from the people who own the IP of Spider-Man, but they only own it for 10 years. And then 10 years later, fucking now Fox decides, we're just using Fox. I know that they're owned by Disney now, but we're pretending Fox wasn't bought by, who isn't fucking owned by Disney? Paramount. Paramount decides they are going to make a Spider-Man movie, and the Spider-Man movie kicks fucking ass. Well, now Sony and Marvel are like, okay, we need to make a better Spider-Man movie. So they work harder to make a better Spider-Man movie. So you have two Spider-Man movies competing in the market for whose is better. So now you have an audience that you're like, oh, so we're getting these two IPs. They're both working really hard to be better. You get better stuff from competition, and with copyright, you're eliminating the competition.
DDoSing, already illegal, already infeasible, already protections. Downvoting the communities can already be regulated.
There's the baby. Oh, I'd already I'm sorry. When you said I got her, I was like, oh, okay, I can hand her to you. All right. Yeah, this is my last video, and then I'll meet you in there. So, and it's only got a little bit longer.
You can already ban users spamming communities. Already potential for a lawsuit. Putting bots in the game, very easy to regulate. You can literally ban these users. And the game would have to be somehow structured in a way where bots could completely ruin it. And the developers would have to be completely incompetent on how to stop these bots, or have no interest in stopping them, which is a great argument.
Well, and here's the thing. Like, the moment, usually when bots show up, it's like after, like, here's the thing. If the bots are so bad that you can't regulate your own game and it gets everyone to leave your game, that then it's dead for so long that people then are like, remember that game was really cool? I want to create a dedicated server for it and play it again. That's like way past the point of the company actually making any more potential money from it. It's like there's people right now that are like, wow, dude, I really wish I could play Concord, but it's shut down. It's like, why couldn't you have just released it and then had dedicated servers where the Concord people could stop fucking complaining about Marvel Rivals and just play Concord against each other? Have dedicated Concord servers that people could play with. It doesn't make sense to me. It never has really made sense to me. But this is also a problem when you have games that never have a campaign and they're only multiplayer based. They're destined to eventually die in obscurity. And it's why I think that a lot of these games that, like, let's say Halo, right? Again, I'm going back to Halo, but like, let's say Halo decided, okay, well, we're shutting down all of Halo 1 so that, hey, because Halo 2's out. That would be fucking annoying, dude. Why wouldn't you just bundle them together to be like, okay, now you can download both. You can do all of this shit now together. Or you can just play Halo 1 by itself. It's like, I don't get why you would be here saying that, oh, video game preservation is bad because that people could like destroy or hurt these hardworking developers. It's like, dude, these are giant companies that then mismanage their game, leaving it to where the only people to actually care enough is the community. Like, if they're the only people that care, and they're already the people that are bought in, what's the harm in letting them keep their game alive?
For having private servers, by the way, if the developer doesn't care about stopping it. And once again, this is something that could already be done. It's already legal to try to destroy someone's game and hurt their business. You can already bring a lawsuit for this. So one, either these are people that don't care about following the law, in which case they would host private servers anyways. Two, these are people who do care about the law, in which case they wouldn't be trying to destroy the game even if private servers were legal. Banning private servers does not solve the problem. Banning monetization of private servers does not solve the problem. Legalizing private servers does not create the problem. All this serves to do is hurt game preservation and carry weight for people who want to screw over consumers.
On top of that, if you want to go the other route and say the company has to go and control it, well, what if the company's not around anymore? Is that just able to be monetized now?
Let's get this out of the way right now. People have reverse engineered and hosted private servers for games that do not allow that to exist. And they have even been sued by companies that don't host those games anymore. Games have also allowed people to host private servers without releasing the server binary. So the idea that this is the only way is ridiculous. It's just a lot more of a convenient way and a lot more game preservation friendly way. I'm also not for stopping the monetization of private servers, but even if you were for that, this argument doesn't make any sense. Situation A, private servers are legal, but monetization is illegal. Company dies. They can't sue, right? Okay. Situation B, private servers are legal entirely, but monetization is not. Company goes under. Who are they going to sue? Same situation applies in both scenarios. Whether it is legal to host private servers or not, if a company goes under, they can't sue you for either hosting private servers or monetizing them. The legality of private servers does not make a difference here.
Again, this was obtained through abuse of the original creator. I don't think that's a good route. And this scenario gets even worse if you do allow monetization. Because now I can just kill off your company and then monetize the server and no one will ever come after me.
Which the same exact logic would apply if you killed the company. No one would come after you even if it was illegal because you've killed off the company. Once again, the factor of private servers or monetization being legal or illegal doesn't make a difference to people who are not following the law and in the case that the company goes under.
So in the most extreme, people said live service games shouldn't exist at all and the initiative will kill them off for good and that's a good thing. Well, you don't get to define what players get to play or not play.
That's a great argument, Thor. People should not be in charge of deciding what games you can play and not play.
That's fucking retarded. You should, like, this is where I think that these, like, it's like super anti-consumer to just be like, oh, we're just gonna let it die off because we decided to. We're like, oh, well, the company's out of business now, so they can't host it. What's stopping people from, like, fixing it and making it good again? It's like, I hate all these people are super, like, even, like, there are studios out there that actually care. Like, Running with Scissors, they hate Postal 3, but they weren't against Zoom platform, like, fixing the game up and then selling it. Because they were like, listen, people want to play it. We don't like it, but people want to play it. Who fucking cares? That should be the opinion of all of these companies. It's like, oh, the game was a flop for us. We didn't make a ton of money on it. It was a failure. We'll just shove it into the background, but you guys can do whatever the fuck you want with it. If you want to just mess with it, whatever. You can. It exists out there. Go enjoy it. We're washing our hands with it. Here's the thing. You can make servers. You can do whatever. You can fucking build off of it. Here's the code. Whatever. Do whatever the fuck you want with it. That's how it should be. It's something that we have, like, you've purchased. You're here. What's the problem? I don't see the problem here other than he's like, well, you're taking from these developers. The game's done. This is like where we're at the point where it's like, oh, well, you maliciously killed their game with bots and shit. What is every fucking gamer now just a giant psyop to burn studios down? That's fucking, like, what kind of, like, you're getting as conspiratorial as the people that you're trying to shit on is my problem.
In the same exact way that if I want to play a multiplayer game that's been shut down, even if it has dead servers, I should be allowed to do that, which completely invalidates your previous argument about it not preserving the experience and saying that we should just throw it away in that case. But the people who are saying this are probably engaging in hyperbole because they're tired of unfinished, unpolished, aggressively monetized trash being thrown out and then dying a year later. And yeah, the games industry would objectively probably be in a better place if there were no live service games, if this model never took off. But obviously, I'm not in favor of banning those games, and I don't think most people are either. And we've already established that this initiative wouldn't kill those games.
I like live service games. I enjoy playing things like Final Fantasy XIV. I enjoy going and playing in games in the past, at least, like League of Legends.
I absolutely love that he brought up League of Legends, because League of Legends is the perfect example of a game that I would fucking kill to play an older patch of that game before they ruined it with the bloat of a million fucking champions that do nothing to enhance the experience. The amount of people that would play on private servers of that game of old patches would be insane. Someone was actually working on a project for you to do that, and Riot shut it down. The fact that Riot is scared of competing with older versions of their game because they know their game has been made shittier over time is the exact reason that initiatives like this need to exist. The fact that the game is a fundamentally different game than when it was played in the past, and you have no option to go back because of draconian copyright laws, is fucking ridiculous.
The next one is that this is about games preservation, and that it needs to happen to preserve these types of games for future generations and for everyone
Well,
to
here's the thing. You might hate this, right? Here's something. Okay, you hate the idea of, like, you do not like the way the state the game is in now. Now I'm gonna use an example here, and a lot of people hated this, but Fallout First. Now I never had Fallout First. Just something I never had. Plain and simple, I just played Fallout 76 in the thing, but Fallout First, I always thought it was an interesting concept. To have your private servers to where you could go play the game the way you wanted without dealing with bullshit. You could have your friends in it. There's your private server. This is your private server. You pay $1 a month. I think it was like $1 a month, or at the time, or whatever it is now. I don't know what it is. If a company wants to do that, sure. Like, now they have it. Like, here's you give us you give us a certain amount of money a month, and you can we will host your private server, and you can do whatever build you want on this. You can download. We have all the different builds right here. You can pick what build. You can pick what time period. There you go. If it's a game that's still running, like it's super popular in the case, because I didn't know they were talking about cases like Final Fantasy 14 or League of Legends. It's like, okay, now you can go back and play, and this is your server. Now you can build these things, and then people can pay in. You can play on these servers, and Riot still takes a portion of the money. Problem solved. I don't understand why this is this big of a deal. It will keep the game going for longer if we want to do it that route. If we're going the route of where the company still makes money, boom, problem solved. There will be a little bit of outcry. Can you believe that they're charging people to have private servers? And and it's like, yeah, so what? Now they're making money. Who cares? You get to play the version of League of Legends you wanted to play. Boom, there's problem solved. Then you're not hurting the poor developers. It's like, but what I had initially thought was the game had died. This is why I made the arguments earlier, is because I thought the game had died. Now it's sitting in fucking limbo, and then some people come and take it up, but then they're sued by the original company because they decided to take it up. That's fucking wrong. Like, if you can't maintain your game, but somebody else comes out of their way to maintain it, that is like, oh, well, we're gonna fucking hit you with the DMCA to take that shit down because you're fucking impeding on copyright. It's like, you don't care about the fucking copyright, you just hold it. This is why I'm so mad. Like here's the thing. I really enjoyed the Judge Dredd game back in the day, right? Loved it. I think it's a really fun game. Is it perfect? No. But is it a fun game? Absolutely. We are now 20 years past when that game came out. 20 years, and we have not seen another Judge Dredd game. And it's because of these draconian-ass copyright laws that we currently have. And Rebellion isn't... It's obviously obvious Rebellion's not making a Judge Dredd game right now, right? Rebellion, like, if I were to go right here and look up the fact that Judge Dredd game... Is there a new one? We'll go to news. No news. Fucking no news. Absolutely none. So no one is making a Judge Dredd game. You can find the original... I misspelled Judge. But look. You got the old one. But there is not... It is not... They're not making another one. I'll look up new Judge Dredd game. And we'll go to news. Nothing. Fucking nothing. The people who developed the original Judge Dredd game, Rebellion, are not making a Judge Dredd game. But some studio decides that they're like an indie studio. And they're like, we want to make a Judge Dredd game. We're going to charge for it. I have no problem with it because it's been 20 fucking years since anybody utilized the Judge Dredd IP. But because it's like fucking 1,000 years in limbo because of how the copyright system works in this country, yeah, it's sitting in limbo forever. So we're not gonna get any more Judge Dredd content. They still, I guess, make comic books, I guess, but it's just like now it's gonna die. It's gonna go the way of the dodo bird because they're too busy making it a Sniper Elite fucking 47. But indie studios out here, they can't do anything with it. So this is where I get really irritated with this shit. Like, yeah, if you have currently have movies or games going of this IP, yes, but if there hasn't been one made since the creation of the character, I think you have 10 years to make them to get a studio to get the rights to make a movie, and then they have 10 years with that IP for sure. For sure. If they haven't made it in 10 years, then I think it can go into the free realm where people have the opportunity to make that same thing. Or if you want to develop a movie based on an exact copy of a comic book from 10 years ago, beat for beat, you have the right to do that. Or make a game that covers this arc of a comic book, and they haven't made a game that covers that arc of the comic book. I think that's fair. I think we would see more stuff. Yes, there would be a lot more out there. There would probably be a lot of slop. But there's enough resources to us as people in this day and age. I can look up, like, if it's a movie, I can look up, like, tap, Jeremy Johns. Oh, it's dog shit. Cool, won't watch it. Oh, tap. Fucking look up G-Man Lives, Judge Dredd, new one. Oh, it's dog shit. Won't get it. There's a million fucking opportunities. You can also look up King Jiffy. What did he have to say about this game? It's fucking blows cocks and dicks and does not slap clip. Boom, won't get the game. There's a million avenues for you to go down to find out if this shit's good or not, and I hate the way the copyright system's set up where there's no competition.
Always have forever. But I would argue that this isn't actually preserving these games. Social games, such as, let's say, Apex Legends, require a number of players to be in the match at the same time so that you can have an experience that is only able to be obtained through lots of players.
I didn't realize till right now that I was covering up his fucking head the whole time. Sorry. This is what pirate software looks like.
Interactive, right? It's a multiplayer game. You need a bunch of people. How many of you have felt negatively when an MMO dies? Or when a live service game dies? Oh, dead game.
You know, that's a great point, Thor. I feel pretty bad when an MMO or live service game dies. But you know what I feel worse about? When the game is literally incapable of being played anymore. I think that makes me feel a little worse than the game having a low player count.
There's only 5
So here's the thing I think should be done with MMO that is about to die. I think that they should just drop the live service thing. They should just release it as a campaign, a single player campaign, like scrap anything that needs too much, pull the restrictions, start them at a higher level, let people play it, and sell it as a single player campaign for everybody that wants to experience that world. Boom, problem solved. You got yourself a mini campaign, people can still go and at least experience the world. I mean, the fact that we're living in this world where it's like, oh, shit just dies and then it's forgot about is awful. I mean, I don't care how bad a game is, I think that it should be able to be played. And should be able to be either purchased or just downloaded.
People online, why would I play that? So why would you want to preserve a game in that state? That doesn't make any sense to me. Well, you don't get to define what players get to play or not play. You also shouldn't be able to get to define what developers build or don't build. You should not have creative control over the developers, and you should not have control over what is in my Steam library or on my phone.
I mean, that says it all. He literally contradicted himself 30 seconds earlier. You don't get to decide what type of game experience I like. If I want to play a dead game with low player count, then let me play a dead game with a low player count. Let me play on a private server. You don't get to decide what games I like to play or don't play. You don't get to decide what's in my Steam library and what's not in my Steam library. I mean, that shows a lot about the consistency of this motherfucker's arguments, carrying weight and bootlicking for developers. Which I guess isn't even fair, because really he's just protecting his own interests as a developer. But even on a surface level, the idea that having a game that is completely unplayable, that doesn't exist anymore, is somehow a better outcome than playing a game with a low player count is the dumbest argumentation I've ever heard in my life. It is clearly a biased argument meant to make this initiative look bad.
You're not bringing it back at its height. You're not taking a snapshot of what the game actually is. You're making it limp on in a way that doesn't make any sense. Well, you don't get to define what players get to play or not play. You should not have control over what is in my Steam library or on my phone. That's not preservation. And for those that may stop there and go, but private servers going to have a lot of players. Look at all the ones for World of Warcraft. Again, we talked about that. It opens up a route for abuse to the developers.
Even if we completely ignore the absurdity of the argument that somehow they're going to be botted out of existence and
Oh my god, dude. So a company does it. There's a perfect example out there, and because he's like, well, it's abuse to the developers. Okay, it's our fucking product. Like, you put the product in the consumer's hands. Now it's the consumer to do whatever the fuck they want to. I saw this thing recently, and I can't even remember the studio that did it. But I saw Running with Scissors done. If you go follow my Twitter, I sometimes say funny shit. Not really. I'm kind of cringe. But I talked about how there was this developer who basically came out that they weren't going to put their game on PC. And it was a whole marketing ploy because they were literally paid by PlayStation to have their game exclusive on their platform. But they said they were bringing their game to PC. And they virtue signaled about how they don't want their female main character sexualized and shit like that. It's like, fuck you, dude. Once that game is mine, I should be able to fuck with it all I want. And this is the problem I have with consoles and shit, is because I used to be the console guy. And then I remember when Fallout opened up mods. Fallout 4 had mods on consoles. And the first thought I had wasn't that, oh yeah, this is cool. Why the fuck isn't every game doing this? Why doesn't every game have modding? Why doesn't every game have the ability to let me just go into a little menu, click, and then utilize different fuck arounds in the game? That was freedom to me. That was like mind blowing that there was a company out there, and I know Bethesda has their own problems with like bad monetization and shit. But the fact that they even on console said, look at this, you can play the game the way you want. Freedom. That's like, to me, it's like, oh wow, I can do the game however I want to play it. That's cool. Why doesn't every fucking game do this? Why doesn't every game have mod tools in, like, why don't they release mod tools? And it's like, well, we built it on Unreal or blah, blah, blah. It's like, fuck, who cares, dude? This is, like, it's so cool. Once you open up your shit to modding communities, that's fucking awesome. Like, I want to see more people mod the fuck out of Postal Brain Damage, because they're at least, Hyperstrange at least released that game with the fucking mod kit. There's a mod kit where you can do you can build shit in Postal Brain Damage, and then you can fucking play the game you want to play, however you want to play. That's cool. It's awesome. I love that shit. Postal 2 has stayed relevant for so long because they let their fans do whatever the fuck they want with the game. It's like, okay, you bought our game, have fun with it. Do whatever you want with it. It's yours now. We'll update what we want to update on our side, but you can do whatever you want on your side. That's freedom. That's letting you do what the shit. It's like when I buy a fucking drill from Walmart, I don't have DeWalt showing up to my house being like, oh, why are you adding a bigger battery into that drill than the one it came with? No. You can only use that battery with that drill. The one, you can't buy the bigger battery. No. That looks like a third-party battery. Like, it might be a bad thing, but I think you can buy, like, third-party versions of the drill batteries. I'm not sure. I don't fucking know how drills work. I bought a Ryobi a long time ago, and I just, like, I'm fucking only buying Ryobis because the batteries fit. That's a bad, but, like, you can't use this drill for this cause. Oh, you're using the back of a drill as a hammer to beat in the nail? Well, you can't do that, because now we're going to sue you for wrongfully using the drill. That's fucking stupid. It's my drill. If I want to use the back of it to hammer in a nail to hang a picture because I can't find my hammer, I will do that. That's a better fucking example.
And people are going to use that as an opportunity to host monetized private servers, which has not been established whatsoever and has been clearly debunked. That still would not be an argument for low player counts. You bring up the example of World of Warcraft private servers. The counter argument to your argument that private servers would be dead is World of Warcraft, because those servers are not dead. You do not debunk this argument. You say, well, it's going to hurt developers. That does not address the point of the servers being dead. That is a complete non sequitur argument for a completely different topic, which has been clearly debunked. Also, Blizzard seems to be completely fine. They seem to be making money off of World of Warcraft, and a lot of the players who play World of Warcraft are complaining about the fact that recent updates have ruined the game. So those people actually have an option to play on a private server. That is perfect. The game is still healthy, the game is still existent, the game is still making money, but people who do not want to play the newest content play on private servers. That is the perfect system. World of Warcraft is the perfect defeater of your argument. The game isn't being botted out of existence. I know it has a bot problem, but people still play retail WoW. The game is still existent. There's still plenty of retail WoW players, but the private servers still have a high player count. And those private servers are arguably responsible for something that people really liked, which is classic WoW. It is insane how you brought up the perfect counterargument in every single aspect to what you're arguing for. And with that, I think I'm done. It's complete bias. He has no real arguments. He contradicts himself 60 seconds in between saying one thing and saying the other. He brought up the perfect counterexample to all of his arguments, which is classic WoW. I love that he brought up the League of Legends example, and this whole video is a complete failure and a complete demonstration of why we need this initiative. If this is the best counterarguments that these people have, then send it through right now.
So it's just a song for the rest of it. I kind of agree with the guy who made this video. I actually really agree with him, because it's like, why are we letting, because like, here's a great example as well of just a game that's died. I don't, now I can't even remember the game. I'm gonna look up, I misspelled the fuck out of this. I misspelled monolith. Well, oh, I forgot the N. Let's go to their Wikipedia. There is a game that they made that I want to play. No One Lives Forever. No One Lives Forever. You cannot buy No One Lives Forever anywhere. Anywhere. You can't get it anywhere. It is a delisted game. It is dying in obscurity. Now, this is a game that a lot of people have told me to play. This is a game that I want to play. But it is a game that you cannot play anymore because it is delisted. Now, there is sites like My Abandonware, and there's probably some other ones that you can get, or like a physical copy, maybe. But you're sitting in this world that it's like, oh, so this game doesn't, they don't care about it. And this is something I get really mad about PlayStation at all the time. I just dropped my service, whatever, on PlayStation. I'm dropping it to basic because I'm just fucking sick of the fact that they refuse to remaster any of their PS3 games, and they just keep releasing them through the streaming. The thing that I liked about Game Pass, right? The thing that I think that Game Pass does so well is you have the option to stream anything, or you can download anything. You don't have to do anything, either of them. And if there's a game that you want to play, like let's say you have a game that you really want to play from their service, and you're like, oh yeah, I don't want to get Game Pass though. You can buy every game on Game Pass. You do not have to have the service to play these games. But now they're locking these in as like a bonus. Oh, well, if you get our service, then you can stream at a fucking low quality in your living room. Like when I'm streaming games on Game Pass, I'm playing on my fucking phone. I am not playing them on my console because I want to play them at a higher resolution. I don't want to rely on my internet. But when I'm playing on my phone, I don't care. I'm watching TV anyway, so I'm playing that shit on easy and I'm not giving a fuck. But when I have a game that I want to play, such as like the Resistance 1 and 2, or Killzone 1 and 2 and 3. I want to play those games, but I can't unless I stream them off of their fucking shitty, because like Microsoft's streaming service isn't the best, but it's okay. And if you're wanting to play, oh well, you just said PlayStation. PlayStation uses Microsoft streaming service. They are Microsoft's fucking consumer. They are literally a Microsoft consumer in the fact that they are utilizing their streaming technology to stream games. So they are paying Microsoft to be able to stream their own games instead of just remastering their own games and then letting people download them. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. And it's such a black eye in the thing of video game preservation. I think that every studio should like at least try to keep their games listed the best they can. And like adding, like the thing that I love about Microsoft going day and date in PC and PlayStation starting to do it now is you will see more people preserve those games than the studios them fucking selves. Because it's funny that I can go down, download a fucking PS3 editor or emulator that upreses my games because PlayStation fucking won't. And this is what happens with this whole copyright thing. It's like, oh, well, we totally care about this IP we haven't used in 10 years. No, you don't. No, you fucking don't. If you did, you would have put content out about it. I hate the argument against video game preservation. Well, they're just going to pirate it if it's on a PC. Ah, fuck you. That's why they're putting their games on PC now. It's all these arguments from the past and shit. Like, it was the same thing with the people who were, like, against console games coming to PC. It's like, oh, well, they'll pirate all of them. Or, no, it's just because you want to gatekeep your fucking games, dude. It's like, oh, you just want to suck off a corporation when it should be in the free market to decide. But that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. I might have just rambled like a fucking idiot, but I don't care. It's my channel. Like it, don't like it, dislike, like,